Hi, my friends. My name is Janese, and welcome to my channel. Today, I want to talk about the power of perception and the silver lining, seeing the silver lining in really difficult situations to heal from. And so, years ago, I heard the story, the maybe story of a Chinese farmer. And so, I'm going to read that to you, and then I'm going to share how some of my situations in my earlyhood, um, that it was the perception of seeing the silver lining in it that helped me really heal a lot of those wounds and see my life from a different perspective and to help me to become more empowered. So the maybe story was originally heard from Alan Watts, who's he's since passed, but he was a philosopher. Um, and so I'm going to read this. Once upon a time, there was a Chinese farmer whose horse ran away. That evening, all the neighbors came around to commiserate. They said, "We are so sorry to hear your horse has run away. This is most unfortunate." And the farmer said, "Maybe." The next day, the horse came back, bringing 7 wild horses with it. And in the evening, everybody came back and said, "Oh, isn't that lucky? What a great turn of events. You now have 8 horses." The farmer again said, "Maybe." The following day, his son tried to break one of the horses, and while riding it, he was thrown and broke his leg. And the neighbors then said, "Oh dear, that's too bad." And the farmer responded, "Maybe." The next day, the conscription officers came around to conscript people into the army, and they rejected his son because he had broken his leg. Again, all the neighbors came around and said, "Isn't that great?" And again, he said, "Maybe." And so the moral of the story is that even though something might look really bad, if we can see the silver lining in the situation, and change our perception of it, then perhaps we can have a different view or have it impact us in a different way. And so when I heard this and I thought about my childhood and some of the things, I'm going to share some of um, my silver linings. And so when I was 18 months old, I had the measles and eye infection, and through that lost my left eye. And so I have an artificial eye in my left side. And so somebody would say, "Oh my gosh, that's really sad that you've lost your eye." I say, "Maybe." So the silver lining is that through not being able to see out of my left eye, I have had to feel life from and use other perceptions, intuition being one of them, to feel life so I quit bumping into walls. so, so perhaps, maybe, it helped my intuition in a bigger way. Then, because of the loss of my eye, my mom gave me up, and asked my dad to take me and my brother, and to be raised by, or to have a few years staying at my grandparents in Michigan. We were in New York. And, people go, "Oh my gosh, that's really sad that your mom gave you up and didn't raise you." Maybe the silver lining is my grandmother is one of the best role models, or was, and who taught me my work that I do with intuition, and who was one of the most positive people I ever met in my life. I have since met my mom, and so I'm grateful that my grandmother raised us to the age of 6. So that's a silver lining. And then, at age of 6, my brother and I my dad took us and to raise us, and he was alcoholic and not available in a lot of ways, and also had just we just couldn't rely on him, even though he had every kind of good intention. People, "Oh my gosh, you didn't have a mother, and your father was alcoholic. How sad." Maybe. Because what happened is I became a self motivated person more so because I didn't have someone to get me to school sometimes or in there. So the silver lining is that I became more independent and more outside the box in my thinking in a lot of ways. And then the last silver lining is a little bit interesting because it's it's uh, it's sadly trauma that a lot of women experience. So, and so it's a little bit different twist of a silver lining, and I'll explain that. But I was also sexually molested, um, and raped 3 times before I was the age of 17. And so you're going, okay, where's the silver lining in that? Um, so, due to the suffering and the pain I experienced of that, I drank, I did drugs, I was an at-risk teen, and I hit bottom and put myself in my last rehab, my third rehab, at the age of 20, and begged them to put me in a program that was longer term. And so the silver lining is due to that suffering that I experienced, I turned my life around. And from that point on, when I got sober 43 years ago, clean and sober, I have been really creating, cultivating an empowered life and still do each and every day. So even though the silver lining is not necessarily from the situation that happened, the silver lining is from the result of my reaction to that, and then I was able to turn my life around. And so grateful because I don't know what I would have done if I didn't hit a bottom so young, um, and really work on myself and self love. And so I want to end this with a poem that I found online, and I should have been more prepared and having it right out here. So it's called Silver Lining, and it's by someone who calls himself Simple Catharsis, and I found it on All Poetry. And Silver Lining. There must be some silver lining. I've seen it once before. The edges, they were shining while I lay down on the floor. And when the fog had lifted, no darkness to be seen, the air, once it had shifted, it bore a quiet scene. There amongst the flowers and other things I'd grown, I found a silent power entirely my own. The power of perception and how to love my own, to foil life's deceptions and call my body home. And so, really, from my experience, I have really learned that seeing the silver lining in what appears to be really, or what is, tragic, suffering, hard things, can actually bring about an opening for healing, to see it different, and to really allow the grace to come in and help you see your life from different lens, and to see yourself from different lens, and to leave. And for me, the best thing that was my change was when I did go into rehab 43 years ago. I really saw myself as a victim in big ways. And I only shared a few of the things that happened in my life, um, because I didn't really want to go into like all the details, but it's been a journey. And so when I did go to rehab, I was like, oh, woe to me, I've had a rough life, and so I started seeing life from a different lens, that I could choose through my perception to be a victim or to build my life, build me, to heal, to grow, and to see life as just a really juicy journey full of ups and downs and rounds and rounds. So, on that, I am so grateful for you, and I hope. And I hope that your silver lining perception helps you feel more empowered in your journey. And so grateful for you. Thank you.